Welcome everyone. Welcome to the first week of the Island Box or Island Month. I'm calling it Island Month. We are tasting this guy today. Not exactly a very eye-catching label, but 2023 Cenatiempo Ischia Superiore Bianco is Bianco Superiore is what we're tasting today. Kicking it all off with a little satellite unknown island off the coast of Campania, Naples. But anyways, before we get into all of that, just a few announcements. For those of you who are new to 6 Foot Wine Club, actually there is no new member this month. So yeah, I guess everybody's a veteran at this point. But Case Club will open tomorrow, so look out for that. All the wines we tasted last month that will all be featured, as well as some one-offs and different things that I tasted that really resonated with me that will go on. I know I sent this out in the middle of the month last month because I forgot to pull this out, put this out before Case Club went out. But if any of you want to, those of you who went to Wine Prom, if any of you want to pick up anything from Wine Prom, any of the wines from the Wine Prom, let me know, and then I can put those on Case Club as well. But really, after that, I don't really have too much announcement. In case you haven't noticed yet, we are tasting a Quinquina this month, which is a fortified aromatized wine that is flavored with the cinchona roots, which is what gives what is the main component, flavoring component, the substance in there is quinine, which is the main ingredient of tonic water. So in that spirit, we're going to feature Malaria Consortium as the organization that we're donating to. So we'll be donating 1% of our course revenue to Malaria Consortium. If you want to learn more about what they do and donate also at 6 Foot Wine Club, the link is right there in the chat box. Any questions about anything before we get into the wine? Excellent, excellent. All right, well, let's start with a map. Sorry, where to go? Here you go. That's obviously not a map, but there you go. Here's a map of Italy. It should look pretty familiar. You guys have seen this many times by this point. Where we are is all the way down in the southern kind of end of Italy, in a place called Campania. We put a Campania box together, right? A few months ago. Well, actually, it was last year, I believe. Anyways, and just off the coast of Naples, there's this little island right here. This is Ischia. This is where we are this month. By the way, just as overall, the whole point of this month was, one, I just wanted to, this is something that I've thought about for a while, just to kind of put a island box together. And quite frankly, we've done Sicily, we've done Canary Islands, but these kind of little islands, there are all these little islands that are off of in Mediterranean that produce wines, but I actually don't know much about it. Corsica is one of them. We have 2 wines from Corsica this month. We have 1 wine from Sardinia, which is right here. And then the last one, the 4th one we're starting up today is Ischia, which is this little island right here. But I've never really spent much of my wine career studying any of these wines. I kind of know very basic of what's kind of grown there, but I really didn't know much. So this month is just as much of an exploration and learning for you as it is for me, which is always fun. But yeah, just wanted to kind of check these out. And as oftentimes the island wines go, they are usually the volcanoes that cause those islands to exist. So oftentimes we're talking about kind of common thread of the soil type that runs through. Not all of them are volcanic. Some of them has some limestone and granite and different things running through, but there should be some common thread that runs through all of them. Obviously, they're all in the same climate, which is the Mediterranean climate. They're in the Mediterranean Ocean or sea. So yeah, it should be pretty fun. So we're basically staying right here this month. These 3 islands, Sardinia, Corsica, and this tiny little island called Ischia, which is where we're starting today. So if you want to look a little more closely on an actual Google map, this is kind of where it is. So yeah, literally off the coast of Naples, there's a ferry that goes from Naples to Ischia pretty regularly from what I've researched. It's quite a touristic town. A lot of not only the Italians, but a lot of the rest of the Europeans. And from what I hear, as of late, a lot of Eastern Europeans as well as Russians have been vacationing here quite a bit. There are a lot of thermal spas that are available here. So not only are there delicious wines here, but thermal spas. So apparently it's quite the destination for a lot of vacationers. Supposedly, Angela Merkel, the former German chancellor, was a regular here from what I've read on the internet. Can't believe everything you read on the internet, but that's what I've read. Anyways, so little known volcanic island just off the coast of Naples. Like I said, it's about 19 miles west, so not too far. Almost entirely mountainous, so with the highest peak being Mount Epomeo. It's about 2,500 or almost 2,600 feet. It's not super tall, but it's not nothing. I think I have some pictures of the. Maybe not. Thought I had one. Anyways, almost entirely mountainous region. So as you can imagine, the grapes are grown on a kind of steep side of a mountain on terrace vineyards, and that's where all the best grapes come from, which makes mechanization completely impossible, which means everything has to be done by hand. So we're talking about a place where, really it doesn't make sense to really grow grapes, but because of that incredible Mediterranean climate, you get the steep slopes on the mountainside, sea breeze, all the UV rays from being in the Mediterranean. All of that is what makes this place really possible for high quality grape growing. Ischia does have its own DOC status. So this is actually Ischia DOC, as you can see, but it also has Bianco Superiore. We'll get into that in a second. 80% of all islands wines are dedicated to white wine. So it's really a white wine territory that we're talking about. They do make some reds, but really what they're known for are the white wines. Viticulture here dates back to 700 BC. So, the island was first initially settled by the Greeks, and then the Romans came, colonized the island, brought viticulture there, and then the Romans called the island Inaria when they colonized the island, which means land of vines, which is a testament to how well known this area was for viticulture even back then. In fact, I didn't know this before until this month, but Ischia was actually Italy's second DOC. The first was first in Campania, but definitely second in DOC for wine in 1966. Again, testament to its reputation for quality. They've been making wine here for a while, and then it continues to make delicious, high quality wine here. Mostly all made from native varieties called Forastera, which is according to for the law, the DOC law, at least minimum has to be 65% in any kind of a blend, and then the rest Biacolera up to 20%. Biacolera is actually exclusive to the island. You don't really see it anywhere else in the world. Forastera, you do see it grown in the rest of the Campania, particularly along the coast. But Biacolera, I've never seen it anywhere else besides Ischia here, with up to 15% of other native varieties blended in. So oftentimes you're going to find Ischia wines to be a blend of those two grapes, the Forastera and Biacolera. But these days, you are also seeing some 100% varietal wines bottles being put out there. And this producer, Cenatiempo, also makes incredible 100% varietal Pinot Biacolera as well. I mentioned this before, but Bianco Superiore. So if you ever go out there and find shop for a bottle of Ischia, if it's just Ischia DOC, obviously with the DOCs, it comes with harvest yield control regulation. It has to reach a certain amount of alcohol level. I believe with Ischia is 11%, 11.5% perhaps. But with the Bianco Superiore, it actually gets even tighter. So you can only harvest less per vineyard footage, and then as well as the minimum alcohol percentage has to reach 12% with the Bianco Superiore. So whenever you see Bianco Superiore, just know that it's going to be slightly higher in alcohol and oftentimes more concentrated because the yield has to go down. Yeah, and then the red wines that I mentioned that grows in Ischia also made from native varieties called Guarnaccia and Piedi Rosso. I've actually never had any of those grapes, so yeah, this bottle definitely made me want to go explore and seek out some more Ischia because of this bottle. This particular bottle really impressed me. I was thoroughly taken back by it. All right, let's talk about who makes this wine. This lovely couple here they're not married, so they're partners. But from what I've read, they've been together for a long time, so it might as well be a husband and wife team. But yeah. Cenatiempo, small family-owned winery, now run by Pasquale, which is a gentleman on the left, Frederica, which is a lady on the right. They were founded in 1945 by Pasquale's father, Francesco, who made wine from his own grapes as well as from some of his friends and neighbors throughout the island. And that's the same story now with Pasquale. He does grow his own grapes. He does have estate fruit, but he also is about half and half. So he grows about half of his fruit himself, and then he partners with the other growers on the island for the other half. Not much has changed over the last 70 years. They farm 4 hectares in 5 communes, divided among 14 vineyards. Again, these are all very small vineyards spread across the entire island, all working just by hand because it's all in a very steep terrace. So we're talking about very, very labor intensive practice here. And I wanted to show you this little video that I pulled up. If you want to watch the whole thing, it's a 15 and a half minute long video. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but that it was kind of fun to watch the cellar tour. The importer actually sent me, they recently went on an importer trip to visit them, and they sent me some videos and other stuff. But this is a different video, but the cellar was quite striking. So I figured I would share that as well. But anyways, before we get there, I just also wanted to show some other pictures. So this is actually what the vineyards look like. These are kind of like terrace vineyards on the island. I mean, beautiful, right? And this is actually Cenatiempo, their actual property. And then this is one of the pictures of cellar. I'm going to give you a better video of all of that. One second. Where did it go? There you go. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm just gonna play like a minute of this, just to kind of give you an idea of what the cellar looks like. It's an ancient cellar that's dug, that has existed since the Roman time, that is dug into a side of a mountain, into a cave essentially. So yeah, check it out.
prima pressatura, le fecce, insomma i graspi ancora però carichi di mosto, venivano pressati con delle travi di legno e poi con un palo e un sistema di carrucole la pietra veniva appunto torciata, fatta girare in modo da poter fare da contrappeso e dare l'ultima pressatura finale per non perdere nulla delle uve.
Anyways, you can watch the rest if you want. Also, that music is ridiculous, but yeah. If you have like 15 minutes to kill one day, you can watch it. The first part is they go through their vineyards, they talk about different vineyards and their soil type. It's pretty geeky, but yeah, if you're into that, you can watch that. But yeah, yeah. Apparently, the importer is telling me that you can feel the temperature drop as soon as they go into the cellar, like an easy 10 to 15 degrees, and it just stays there, which is pretty amazing, obviously, for cellar Asian wines. Okay, so what is this wine? This is a 90%. They have recently started practicing biodynamic farming. So this is 90% biodynamically grown, not certified. Bianco and Forastera. They are not the exact blending percentage. It varies each vintage, and I could not find out for 2023 what the exact breakdown was. I did put a question out to the importer, but didn't get an answer back. There's some other indigenous varieties, like I mentioned, that are thrown in there. The rest of 10%, but the 90% is the two main grape varieties that I was talking about. The vine age here ranges from 20 to 100 years, so there's quite a bit of some old vine wine thrown in here as well. And then just to give you some background on what these grapes are, so Bianco gives it the kind of like the stone fruit. I mean, obviously, I don't know how you guys feel it, like there's a lot of like a Malvasia, like a Canary Island kind of a vibe to this thing. Like it's like got that like stone fruit, a lot of like kind of like a floral, really like pretty white flower aromatics going through. A lot of that is a Bianco. So that's the stone fruit, that floral aromatics, very reminiscent of Malvasia, like I said. And then Forastera gives it the acidity, the minerality, and we'll talk more about this when we get to tasting it, but there's this layer of this savoriness and a little bit of almost like a green almondy kind of like an oxidative thing going on, especially towards the back end of the palate. That all comes from Forastera. So two very different grapes, right? One's very much like that fruit forward, expressive, aromatic kind of a variety, and the other one's much more austere, acid, mineral, and kind of a savory kind of wine. So blending those two kind of brings out the best in each one. Fermented in temperature control concrete vats using native yeast and aged for 2 months in those concrete vats on the lees. But they do split it between tank and the concrete, and then followed by additional 1 month in bottle. So we're talking about pretty fresh bottles here. We're not talking about doing a whole lot of treatment on the wine, very much of a varietal expression, just kind of a purity of the grape. Could not find any information on the filtering finding. I'm sure it has not been found. They're very much of a gung-ho minimal interventionist people. And then probably minimal sulfites. This does seem like it did receive a little bit of sulfites, but could not verify that information. All right, that's all I got. Any questions about anything before we get to tasting it? Cool. Hearing none, let's taste the wine. Who wants to take the appearance?
I'll do it.
All right.
This wine is clear.
This one is clear.
I would call this pale plus medium minus from a intensity perspective.
Yeah, it's like a lower end of medium. Yeah, somewhere between pale and medium. I agree with that call.
Lemon-ish color.
Yeah.
A little
Oh,
gold.
it's like a pale gold, medium lemon kind of a thing. Yeah, that's what I'll call this.
Not a ton of intensity from that perspective. No bubbles, no pétillance, nothing. So.
Cool. Excellent. Easy peasy. You get to pick the next person for the nose.
Well, because she was off the microphone and I haven't seen her in a while. Let's see if she stayed on or not. Liz, you do the nose?
Yeah, just take them and then.
Yeah. Because I brought shrimp that I had bought.
Perfect.
Yeah. But
I'm hearing some noise from somebody. Can somebody mute yourself?
I don't have the wine with me.
All
That's
right, forget it, Liz.
the script, so sorry. Did you call my name? Did I hear you?
And
I feel
But I can make.
Hold on.
We could ask Phil to do it. He's,
Yep, that was great, Phil.
Hold on. There's somebody's unmuted. I can't
I
see
think
who.
it's Zach.
Zach. Go on mute.
Zach, Julie, mute yourself.
Phil, you're on. Nominated.
Yeah, I
by-
heard. Thanks, Liz. Okay, I'm going to do the nose.
Yep.
This is clean, very
Yeah.
clean.
Yeah, this one is clean. This one is sound.
Right. And the intensity is a high end. It's not a medium plus, but it's a high end, a medium.
Yeah, like I'm like right here, which is like 1 or 2 inches off. Yeah, I would say high end of medium, lower end of medium plus, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
My one is also very cool. I pulled this out right before tasting. So if your wine's been out for a while, I'll probably get a little bit more intense. But as of right now, yeah, I'll call this about high medium as well. High end of medium. What do you smell?
Let me see the rest of the. Where are we? Oh, okay. I get a lemon,
Yeah. Do you get any floral?
a little bit of floral.
Yeah, I get like a touch of like not super floral, but I get like a touch of floral here.
Yeah,
Maybe some like
Like
acacia, jasmine, some sort of like a white
like
flower.
the jasmine flower. Yeah, that would be a real good.
Yeah, like some sort of white flower. Do you get any green fruit?
No, but I get some citrus smell.
Yeah, agreed. I think you could convince me maybe there's a little bit of quince here, but yeah, I mean, to me, this is where you definitely get just citrus.
Yeah,
here.
that-
All right, call us some citrus.
And I don't get a stone fruit smell.
Yeah.
I don't-
I get some stone fruit. I get a little bit of like a peach. I get a little bit of like the white peach, like the donut peach kind of thing, like not super like a yellow peach, but like just like a little bit of like that white, like a white peach kind of a thing, a white peach kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, touch of a peach. Any tropical?
I get like a pineapple, but before it, you cut it open.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I can get a little bit of like a pineapple-y, some sort of like a tropical thing. Yeah, for sure.
I get like mango. Is that
Yeah.
weird?
No, I don't think it's weird at all. I mean, this is a pretty warm place. It's Mediterranean climate. Like it's especially with the grapes like this that are quite floral, expressive and aromatic. I don't think it's weird at all to get some tropical fruit.
My nose is usually bad, so I was like, I smell mango.
Yeah. To me, this is more like a citrus. Like I get a strong citrus and a stone fruit
Right.
here going on here. But yeah, this idea of mango and pineapple, I don't think it's completely off. Yeah, especially that pineapple, I definitely think some of that. Okay, red fruit, black fruit.
No, of course not.
Nope.
There wouldn't be any there. And no dried or cooked fruit here.
Yeah, I mean,
Really
to
all
me,
fresh.
super fresh. super ripe. Yeah, this like fruit quality here is just gorgeously ripe.
Yeah.
Just like peak of the season ripe. Any herbaceous, herbal?
I
Like a
don't
savory
get
thing?
that, I don't get that on the nose.
Yeah,
I don't, but I did get what you said in the, on the palate, but that's somebody else to tell us that.
yeah. Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of, like, I don't get anything green. I could perhaps maybe get a little bit of like a herbal kind of thing going on here. But really, no, like to me, it's still very much like this
Still
fruit.
very, yeah, very fresh.
Yeah. Any spice, any minerality, any rockiness or anything like that?
No, I don't get I don't get that. I don't in the nose.
I get a little bit of rockiness. It's not super rocky. I mean, I get more of like the textural kind of component of this, but
Uh-huh.
I get a little bit of like a flinty kind of a thing going on here. But yeah, but
Yeah,
really,
A flint would be a good, yeah, that is there. There is that smell.
yeah, there's a touch of the like the flint, flinty kind of like a rocky minerality thing going on here. But yeah, definitely here is where this wine lives. Any secondary, any tertiary?
No, none at all.
Yep,
None at all.
agreed. Very fresh, very primary fruit driven wine. Excellent. You get to pick the next person for the palate.
Celia, you want to do it? Cecilia?
Sure. My palate, I was excited about my nose tonight because I usually just smell like citrus. So it is dry.
Mm-hmm.
Acidity like medium plus.
Yeah, it's got some acid. This thing.
Yeah,
It takes a while to kick in just because there's so much
it's
concentration. of
it's like
fruit.
slow. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like a brain is playing like a trick on your mind. You're like, oh my God, there's so much fruit, so much like flowers. It's like, it just makes you think that it's got to be sweet. But really, like when you sit with it and just pay attention to the actual sensation, like my mouth is still watering. Like, yeah, I definitely call this medium plus acid. Any tannin?
No, I don't get any tannin.
Oh,
Um,
alcohol.
alcohol, I feel like it's medium, but I didn't look at the percentage. 12
Yeah,
and
what
a
do
half?
you? What do you
Yeah,
call it?
medium.
Yeah, I'm gonna have this like 13, 12.5, 12.5. Yeah.
12.5. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bianco Superiore by law, if you're gonna put that on the label, it has to be at least 12%. So we know that this will at least be medium. But yeah, 12.5. So that's right in the medium range. Body.
Like medium minus. This feels
Yeah.
1% milk to me.
To me, this got some weight. That's
Oh,
what I
yeah?
liked about this. Yeah, I mean, not like a medium plus or full body, but it's got a little bit. I'm gonna call this at least medium. I'm gonna call this like a lower end medium, higher end medium minus. So yeah, I'm gonna call this medium. It's got some weight.
Maybe it's coming off all that Chilean red, messing me up.
Yeah, it's lower end of a medium, high end of medium minus. Again, depending on the temperature of your wine, you can
Yeah.
probably go that way.
Mine's very cold. It was in the freezer till like
Okay.
15 minutes ago.
Yeah. So that will do it. Moose, we don't have to talk about, obviously. Flavor intensity.
Like for a white, I feel like it's medium plus, but maybe in the world of wine, like medium.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way as what Phil called on the notes. This is like right in the high and the medium, lower than medium plus.
Mm-hmm.
It's not shy, but it's not like squarely like screaming out of the glass.
It's super drinkable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if this wine warmed up a bit, I'll probably call this a medium plus. Right now, I'll probably call this medium, but it's like right in that middle between medium plus right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wine is very cold as well. All right. Do you confirm everything that Phil called out? Is there anything else that sticks out to you?
The tropical doesn't come out in the taste to me, but yes, everything else Phil called out for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe more of the flint, more of the stone, I think.
Yeah, exactly. The minerality really sticks out here on the palate particularly. But yeah, like a little bit of that like jasmine, white flower thing, touch of that. I do get a little bit grapefruit. I do get a little bit of quince. This is what I keep coming back to. Citrus, definitely. Ton of
Yeah.
lemon, really fresh lemon. I do get a little bit of like a peachy, kind of like a stone fruit thing going on here. This right here, I mean, this is a probably function of a minerality. I'm going to talk about salinity later. Like there's a saltiness to this wine.
100%.
Yeah, with the pineapple coming in, it's like there's like a salted pineapple kind of a thing going on here, which is really delicious. Yeah, and then fruit quality, just really fresh, really ripe. I mean, just like peak ripeness. Just like beautifully ripe. And yeah, no spice. I'm gonna come back to this at the end. But yeah, definitely there's that flinty minerality. There's a salinity. There's like a saltiness to this thing on the backs of all that kind of like ripe fruit that's there, which is gives it that incredible balance, and then another layer of complexity, which is awesome. Now,
Which I assume is like licking a rock, which I have.
yeah, there's definitely textural component here as well. Like it's not just all just fruit, but like texturally, there's like tension there for sure. And yeah, there's a lot of minerality coming through here. And then that's the kind of the common thread that we're gonna find through a lot of these wines is that when you're growing grapes on an island, especially on slopes like this, which is oftentimes very infertile. It's on volcanic soil, infertile. There's not much water because it kind of drains off. So the roots really have to dig deep into the ground, into bedrocks. So they end up just giving a lot of minerality. And then this is yet another example, even though it has this beautiful ripeness and expressive fruit on top, but at the base level, underneath all of that is this kind of like salty, flinty, just like rocky minerality that runs through, which is awesome.
My favorite kind of white wine.
Yeah, exactly. Any secondary, any tertiary?
Nah.
Yeah. Now, I want to go back to here real quick because this is hard to miss. It's easy to miss, but I want you guys to take a sip and to kind of sit with it a little bit, and then watch it at the like very end, towards the very end of the finish before it disappears. I want you to watch how the flavors change a little bit there because I get something there that is different from all this fruit and all that stuff.
I feel like it sticks to my tongue more than white wine normally does, but it's not like a tannin thing.
Yeah, I don't mean like a texturally, but I get like it's not oxidative obviously because it's it's stainless steel and all that. But there's this little bit of like a green almond, like there's a little bit of like it's not plant or herbal, but there's a little bit of that like green almondy kind of a thing going on, like a raw almond kind of a thing going on here at the end, which is awesome, which is kind of cool. And that's the Forastera. Forastera kind of gives it that kind of savoriness, acid, minerality, and all of that. And then yeah, it's giving this little bit of like a savory kind of a thing. I keep saying green almond, but yeah, like that's there's something there, which is awesome.
It's sort of how it feels when I eat like a raw walnut sometimes. Maybe that's what it is.
Exactly. To me, it's not like roasted almonds or walnuts. It's like the raw nuts.
Raw, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. There's like actually raw plant, almost like a planty seed kind of a thing when you're chewing on like a raw seed. There's some of that going on here, which is the Forastera that's coming in here, which is also cool. Like it gives that you get this plenty of expressive fruit, super ripe, and then at the end you get this kind of like savory, kind of nutty kind of a thing going on, which is cool. All right, the finish. How long is the finish?
It's sticking. I feel like medium plus.
Saltiness is so good.
Like I can still taste it.
Yeah, it's got some length again.
Yeah,
it's got all that fruit, and then the minerality kicks in. The flintiness, the saltiness kicks in, and then it's got that like that raw nut, almond, walnut, that kind of thing going on at the end. Yeah, I'm gonna call this like I don't want to like being generous. I'll call this medium plus as well. Low end of medium plus, high end and medium. Again, as this wine probably warms up, it will give out. The length will get probably a little bit longer, but as of right now, or as it opens up, as of right now, I'll call this medium plus 2. All right, take it all home for us, Cecilia. How good is this wine, and would you age it?
I had a long finish, all primary.
Intensity and complexity.
I'm sorry, somebody's knocking on our door and my dog's going crazy. Hey. They're not gonna calm down. I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
It's okay.
Yeah, someone knocked on the door, so I have Steph investigating. If you don't mind checking, I don't know who knocked. Okay. Well, let me know if I need to let Tink back in. Anyway, sorry. Our dogs don't like strangers.
Okay.
I think she's still barking outside. Anyway, sorry. I don't know that this needs to be aged. Although the acid's there, it doesn't have the tannin backbone or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but let's go with the quality first. Would you? So you called it medium plus on length,
Yeah.
intensity and complexity. What would you call it?
I mean, it was all primary. So I don't like. I feel like this is between like good, very good.
Yeah, right. Like it's all primary, but we call that some flower. We call green fruit, citrus, tropical, minerality. We call that some of that like nuttiness, savory kind of a thing, not necessarily herbaceous or herbal. Some of that, so like quite a bit of things going on. So yeah. Like high end of medium, perhaps. Somewhere between medium plus, like you said, and then intensity. We called it again between medium plus, somewhere in between for both. So looking at all of that, we got this wine is balanced, medium to medium plus concentration, medium to medium plus complexity, and then medium plus length. So when you take average of all of that, we're like landing somewhere between medium plus, maybe perhaps slightly towards to medium plus. So depending on how generous you are, you call this what?
I guess very good.
Yeah,
be generous.
Yeah, exactly. If you're real generous right now. Again, my wine is very cold. Again, if this was open for a little bit longer, a little bit warmer, I'll probably call this squarely into medium plus. But right now, as what I'm drinking it right now, somewhere between good. I'll still big generous call it very good. Now, would you age this?
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's some. Again, I'm not super well familiar, or I haven't had any experience with aged Ischia before. So I don't know how Ischia ages over time. But given we call it medium plus acid, so decent backbone. We got medium to medium plus concentration. We already have quite a bit of things going on complexity wise. So I think this wine has a backbone. As it ages, it'll probably add a little more complexity to it. Whether it's going to be more delicious having these like non-fruit things, like to me, what this wine is delicious for right now is like all this really ripe fruit, all this minerality, the balance act between salt and minerality and the fruit, the savory versus sweet ripe fruit. Like to me, that's what's fascinating and delicious about this wine. But given the concentration, given the acid, do I think this wine can go? I think it would be interesting to see where this wine goes. And given the concentration acid, I would say, I don't know, give it 5 years. I think it's perfectly fine for the next 3 to 5 years. But honestly, I think I would drink this now. I think this wine.
I have trouble aging wine or especially wine that tastes really good right
now. Yeah, as most people do. But yeah, that'd be my call. Excellent. Good job.
So the door knock was my dad's Stoltman wine delivery to my house. Sorry about that. They needed a signature. He lives in West Virginia and they don't ship to West Virginia, so he sends it here.
Got it. Any questions about tasting? Any disagreements?
I love the stuff, but the salinity after you've had a few glasses of it is nuts. Like it makes
Yeah, it's quite salty, right?
like, I mean, I feel like I just need to drink like a bucket of water now. I mean, lovely, but
Yeah.
there's so much like yeah, the Canaries pale by comparison in terms of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how salty this thing is. I mean, it tastes exactly like where it comes from, like Mediterranean Ocean, sea breeze. It's right there. All that UV rays, sunlight, the beautifully ripe fruit, right, and then all that salty tang on top. The minerality of the volcanic soil where it's grown. I mean, it tastes exactly where it comes from. It's like a representation of the place it comes from, which is exactly what wine should be. So, but yeah, I 100% agree. This part of the reason why I said this is like a perfect seafood wine. Right? Imagine, I mean, this is like that salt and lemon on seafood, right? It's like imagine this as like almost a condiment, like wine is a condiment on top of the food that you're eating, kind of a deal.
Would this be a kind of wine that'd be good with like raw oysters, or is it too much salinity?
I would think so. I do wonder about the amount of fruit and the aromatics, whether that would clash with it, or if you just think but it certainly has the lemon, the citrus, the acid, and the salinity to match up to it. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that goes. Usually with the oyster pairing wines, I tend to stay away from like really aromatic ones. But it may be interesting to see.
I don't know if it's just because I haven't had oysters since wine prom, but I started drinking this and I was like, I really want oysters right now.
Yeah.
But it might just be the salinity that's making me.
I honestly think I'd be fine. I mean, it's not overly aromatic. It's not like overly
Yeah.
But it is definitely quite a bit of fruit here. So yeah. Any other questions? Did anybody pair this with anything? I'm just curious if there's any food that worked, any food that didn't work, clashed.
We
did
had like
a shrimp
carbonara.
pasta.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's-
what? Kirsten,
Shrimp-
what'd you say?
Shrimp
Yes,
pasta.
shrimp pasta.
Yeah, it was like shrimp with like lemon and butter and garlic.
Oh yeah,
Pretty
I bet that
simple. Yeah,
I bet it worked very
well. Yeah.
And Cecilia, you're saying?
Oh, we did like a pasta carbonara that it wasn't.
Yeah,
We just had pasta, but yeah, it was not the right pairing.
yeah.
But then I started drinking. I was like, I want oysters.
Yeah. Cool. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question, and it's
Yeah.
not about the flavor of this wine, but how in the world would an inspector find this vineyard in the middle of nowhere to call it to claim it's a DOC?
I mean, they've been here since they were the second oldest DOC in all of Italy. They've been making wine here since 700 BC, so it was already kind of known before even DOC structure became a thing in Italy. I didn't know that until so yeah, learn something new with this wine club. Still, I had no idea. But so I guess at least with this, it was already well known, at least within Italy, in the world of where the Romans went. People knew about this area, or this island at least. Any other questions? Do you guys like this one? Does anybody not like this one? Just out of curiosity. Okay. Yeah, I mean, to me, again, these are the kind of things I always try to gauge or calibrate my things for. But like to me, this is a crowd pleaser. Like I don't know how if you like wine, you wouldn't like this wine, right? Like maybe to Dave's point, like there's a lot of like savoriness, saltiness here.
I think it's a food wine. I
Yeah.
mean, but there's so much. I mean, it doesn't taste I don't taste the salinity when I drink it, but now I'm like,
You feel it?
I totally feel it. I feel
Yeah.
like I've drank ocean water or something. I'm
Uh,
not sad about that. I'm just saying I think this is a seafood wine, like one of
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this will make a lot more sense with food. I mean, like, yeah, what Dave you wrote, like langoustine, plate of shrimp, like pilating shrimp kind of a thing. Fantastic. Lobster wine, be fantastic. Um, even cracking crabs. Yeah, like a crab wine, this would be fantastic. Spicy, like Old Bay with all this fruit. Oh, fantastic. Any other questions? Cool. Let's play everybody's favorite game. How much do you think this wine is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy paying for this on a retail shelf? Italian, right? We called it very good, between good and very good. Ageable between 3 to 5. You can't, it's all has to be worked by hand. It's all in a steep vineyard, very labor intensive place. Yeah, but no one really knows, right? Nobody really, Ischia is not on everybody's radar. 2830, 2025, 2829, 2525. All right, well, it's kind of in the ballpark. This wine would be 27 bucks on a retail shelf. I mean, for something we call very good, that has some major potential, and as well as it drinks beautifully now, I think 27 is a deal for this wine. I mean, I'll be happy paying 27 bucks for this one, for sure.
my question. And
Yeah.
less than like a flight or a pairing or whatever. If you're in a restaurant or a wine store, how do you sell this, given that no one has any idea what it is?
Yeah, so to me, what I love about this wine is that kind of like the balance between sweet and salty, that kind of thing. For somebody, again, I could go in the food, right? Like if they don't know anything about the wine, I would like, are you trying to pair it with something? Are you eating some seafood and whatnot? I was trying to sell it as like a seafood wine. Pop this open next time you're cracking crabs or eating some seafood or fish or shrimp or whatever. Otherwise, if they have some knowledge of a wine world, then I'll throw in things like I said, like a Malvasia. Like to me, there's a lot of like similar kind of vibe about this wine. There's a lot of similar vibe. This and Canary Islands has a lot of similar vibes that run through. So yeah, I will go through that. Talk about some salinity again. Yeah, it's kind of how it was. Yeah, to me, this just screams seafood. Like as soon as I tasted it, I'm like, this tastes exactly like an island. Like this is an island. Like there's nowhere else where the wine could taste like this, except for Mediterranean island. So it's like, here we go. Any other questions? Has any of you ever had Ischia before, by the way? Yeah, this was my first Ischia too. Yeah, it's like when the importer brought it to me, and I was like, Ischia, like I'm not gonna lie to you, like I had to look up where that was. I was like, I have no idea where Ischia was, but now I know. Now I know.
I'm curious as that, like, I mean, I'm sure there are small producers. I mean, there may be not a small producer, but all over the world. Like, how did this one make it to our shores?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ischia one, it's just a very small amount of wine is made there. First of all, and this particular importer, he's an Italian nut. Like 90% of his book is Italian, so he's just always out there going through Italy.
Still pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if unless you went to the island, you'd try this otherwise, right?
Yeah, agree. Yeah, I don't think I've ever, even in like a Italian only trade tasting events, I don't think I've ever had Ischia, which again, crazy to think about how Ischia was the second oldest DOC in all of Italy, right? Yet nobody really knows about it. It's kind of crazy to think about that. Any other questions?
You referenced Angela Merkel before. There are apparently 5,000 Germans who live there permanently, so that's probably why.
Okay.
And the history of the island is amazing. Like it's been trampled on by just about everybody throughout. Pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it really does make me want to go there. I do hear that it's quite touristy, but I'm sure there are parts that you can find. That's not so
Only 6 million visitors a year.
Yeah, and then it's supposedly very densely populated because it's so mountainous.
Yeah.
So where people do live, it's just like jam packed. But yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Hearing none. Going to turn off the recording.